right, everyone, here we go. As Fabrizio Romano would say, here we go. Pull up a chair. Welcome, everyone. Arsenal fan circle. It is the Thursday night forum. You're all welcome here. And we got Gary up top and
Fucking
Tony
useless,
instead.
man.
What's that? Stan is on location, so there may be some issues with connections. But Gary, while Stan gets himself sorted out, welcome to the show, Gary.
Yes. Hello, hello. Hello. Thank you for having me. Ray, Tony, I guess Stan, hopefully he'll be back. And everybody in the chat. I see BX Gunners in the house. Nerdscape, welcome, welcome. Riddy has joined us. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Listen,
Hey, even that
BX.
DWTT guy, he's in there. Don't see
he's
Yeah.
him
there
very
too.
often.
Yeah,
And the Tony Turner guy is
he
back
missed. He
again.
missed.
Crap.
He missed the last one, Tony. And so
No,
well,
no,
He
he
didn't miss
didn't.
it. He came in for
I came in to close it out.
he came in as a 90th minute sub.
yeah,
That's all right.
garbage time substitution, but not
No,
not
no,
garbage,
no.
right? Tony, welcome also, Tony, for joining tonight.
Yep.
Listen, it's the penultimate weekend. This time next Thursday, we will be talking about Selhurst Park and Crystal Palace.
We talk about Selhurst Park every week, right?
We'll be
This
talking
is
about
personal fan circle.
maybe two Vieiras. Who knows? Who knows? Definitely, we'll be talking about one Vieira. The title of tonight's Thursday night forum is "Connecting the Dots." Welcome to all of you. Scan your boarding pass by hitting that like button. Come on, you Gunners. So, BX Gunner, this isn't a party flight, is it? And listen, news breaking today. We don't know anything, but there's a lot of party out there, and of course, we're not going to be commenting on something that we don't know the facts about. Right, Gary? I mean, it is what it is, right? We don't know what's happening out there.
Sure.
So, looking for Partey. Yeah, listen, we're looking for Partey to play, but we'll see what happens. Tony's donning that shirt again. The shirt translates the child, Grogu, captured prey.
Wherever the bottom part of it is. There we go.
Did we see the unveiling for Dybala? Roma fans, they did it. They did it well. Granit Xhaka, you could have that. You could have that adoration. Trays in the upright positions and all electrical devices off, please, while we take off. I hate when I'm flying and the attendants are. They get you do it like 5 times. They come through. They sweep through 5 times.
Well, if you'd listened the fucking first time, they wouldn't have to come by 5 times.
They're
right?
always upright, Tony. I'm always upright. Well, most always.
In one way or another.
Hello, everyone. BX Gunners here. I'm on some mids, Tony. Okay. Tony knows what that means, right? Tough day for Arsenal. Yeah, listen, every day for Arsenal is tough. It's not easy supporting this team. Big up, gentlemen. Hope you are all good. Selhurst Park, screw job. Tony. Yes, Ray. Too many Saul Goodmans on Twitter. That's it. We want to decide and everything, but we don't know the facts. So we're not going to speak too much on it at all, if at all, because we do not know the facts. So listen, Gary, I guess we'll start off with actually there's a couple of things. Emile Smith-Rowe's birthday today. He's 22 years old, Gary. Happy birthday to Emile
Happy
Smith-Rowe.
birthday. Happy
He
birthday.
seems older than that as long as he's been in the first team. He seems older.
Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is he shares it with one Harry Kane, Gary. That's bad news. Same day.
I didn't want to even know that, so now I have. Move on.
Move on.
Yeah, move on, please.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's just that. No.
We did unfortunately lose a true gooner, Terry Neal. Now I'm not going to claim to know that I supported Arsenal before, when he was part of the team. So I don't know a ton about Terry Neal. I was hoping maybe Stan might be able to help me out with that one. But rest in peace, Terry Neal. A true gooner. Um, and if anybody's got some things to say about Terry Neal, some memories, something to remember him by, do put it in the comments section.
I just read some stuff on Wikipedia, of course, because I like to find out what. I mean, I think I guess one of the things that he's known for is being one of the young. I think the youngest manager at Arsenal. I think he
Yep.
was. I think he was 30, 31, if I recall, or 30, or one of the youngest managers. But then Arsenal, I think he was manager. Maybe no, it was 31 when he managed first as a player manager, and then when he eventually was hired a couple years after starting his career with Arsenal, which sounds kind of a little bit similar to what Arteta's going through. Really young manager taking over a
Mhm.
squad. He actually had a really good streak. He had like three FA Cups in a row. I think he won the last one. Um, so yeah, as a manager, he did really well. I mean, he was yeah.
John Smith is with us tonight. He's managed to stay awake
Hey
tonight
there,
just to
John.
join the party. Listen, we always appreciate anyone in the UK
Yeah.
that can do that can stay up for the Thursday night forum. If you can't watch it live, catch it on Rewind and join us on Sundays, of course. It's at a better time for the UK as well. Um, but great to have you here, John.
Is that a Teta with a bottle of Jack Daniels?
Yeah, Arteta with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Hmm.
Uh, I
We
married
might
that
see
myself.
Gary with a bottle of Jack Daniels later tonight. Oh, and John.
Yes, why not?
Why
Pull
not?
up
Is
the
in the house.
stool. Pull up a stool. You are welcome here. Listen, we're all Gooners here. We all think differently. And we all see Arsenal differently, but we all want Arsenal to win. Uh, okay, Tony, let's go there. My inspiration for the title, Connecting the Dots, right? Last season, the fourth game into the season, before the Norwich game, Mikel Arteta said he had the best 10 days of his life, and we didn't. We struggled to understand what that was all about. I think. Have you seen the latest All or Nothing clip where
Yeah,
Mikel
I've
Arteta?
seen it.
So now that gives us a little bit of background as to what was going on and how he felt. And listen, we all face adversity, right, Tony? And we all need others to lean on to pick up our spirits. And
Yeah, my artificial foot went boom. The physical me is breaking down, but artificial parts are breaking down. So I know how it goes.
yeah. So listen, so Gary, that clip that we've seen, it's going to promote All or Nothing. It's going to be whether we would like it or not. It's going to be a feature a little bit into the season here. It's going to color a little bit what last season was all about, and it connects the dots a little bit in terms of what Arteta was actually talking about.
I guess the skeptic in me is like, is that all from the same? Is it all the same scene, or are they giving us snippets and we just don't know it yet? So it sounds like it might just be from one, particular event right before,
One
I
event
guess, the
before the
Norwich.
March, yeah.
But you never know with these things
That
because
one
it
looked
makes
like
no.
a scene, not a
So
highlight or whatever.
yeah, and I still don't. I until they win the game, I wouldn't have said it was the 10 best games because I would have been so upset with the way the season started if it was me. So I guess I'm different than Arteta. Um, but I guess he saw them. Whatever he must have saw some difference from right before game one to right before game four. So that's good to hear that they actually. It sounded like they were changing, but we'll see.
Well,
We'll see a
if
little bit
you're
more about that.
if you remember, cast your minds back, and I looked at the first 3 minutes of our post game podcast. It was Sunday, the Sunday after the Manchester City game. The first 3 minutes, we didn't want to be there. Lose 5-0 to Manchester City, we were down in the dumps as well. And then the next podcast where we had beaten Norwich 1-0, okay, we got the win that we needed. Let's remember, 9 goals conceded, no points, and bottom of the league at that point in time. There's a little bit of a vast difference even in our podcast in terms of how we were feeling from the two games. You know,
I think I looked at the Norwich game to see how we scored. I thought we scored.
this lucky
What do we
goal.
call it? Yeah, okay. Is that what it was? I can't remember how we scored, but
It was
I didn't.
a Saka feeding Pepe. Pepe's shot was deflected onto the upright and comes across for Aubameyang to tap in
Aubameyang.
to an
Okay.
open goal.
Yeah, because I know the other Norwich game, it was a free kick, right? So it wasn't like we
With Burnley,
dominated them. Huh?
that was at Burnley
That
away
was
from home.
Burnley. Okay,
Yeah,
that was like soon after that or whatever. So I think we squeaked some wins out. So yeah. Well, no, I guess we'll I guess we'll see what else happens in All or Nothing. But that was good. I mean, I was a little surprised by what I saw with that. It was a good surprise with the way that he talked to the squad going into the game, or before they even got dressed. Right, they weren't even dressed for the game, but before they got prepared for the game. So it seemed like yeah. I guess it definitely is. That's I guess some things I wasn't expecting to see. But that was good to see that he was able to bring some personal um, experiences into the locker room to get these guys motivated to do what needed to be done. So
yeah.
it was cool to see.
John Sped, yes, the image that he has here, the whiskey with Arteta from last season, he's not changed yet. Hoping for a better start this season,
Yeah,
and we don't want to start with 3 defeats. Start the season with three
I
defeats.
don't. If that were to happen, I don't think he would last. I don't think he would make it to September.
Mhm.
No way.
Arteta isn't a patch on Terry. Rest his soul. So Stan is here now. Let's see if we can bring Stan in. Stan, I was just we were just sort of talking about Terry Neal who's passed away. Do you have any recollections or memories from Terry Neal? Or was that
Um,
before your time?
yeah, no, it was my time. Vaguely though, I remember he won FA Cup wins. I seem to remember under Terry Neal. I think maybe 2, or maybe more than that, 4. I can't remember 3.
You mean as a player or as a
He was
manager?
quite a young manager. I don't know. I can't remember. He was young.
Yeah, he went. I think he went to 3. Yeah, he definitely went to 3 straight FA Cups.
I'm old.
Yeah.
The
And
three
the biggest
straight.
one, the one they talk about, was the year I was born.
Aren't you older than me, Stan?
Yeah, I was born in '68.
Mike Kurtz. Hello, Mike.
Yeah. And it was
Stan's got a
76.
year or two.
It's
on
76
doing, right?
when he joined Arsenal as a manager.
Okay, so the 3 would have been 78, 79, where we won the FA Cup with Liam Brady, that 5-minute
What year
final.
I came into existence, for anybody that cares.
What's that, Tony?
So the year I came into existence, for anybody that cares.
78?
79.
Bullshit.
79. Oh, good year. A winning year. I came into existence in 71, so the double winning. So I got
Triple.
you beat on that one.
Gary. You don't forget Gary. He was born
Gary
in
too.
71 too.
Yeah, he won. He went to
No, I'll
3
probably-
straight. Won the middle one. So yeah.
I started supporting him. I would have started supporting him when I went to my first match. He would have been the manager at my first match.
Yeah. Reddy said, did Arteta. Listen, just to catch you up, we were talking about that clip, the All or Nothing clip. You're not that interested. Are you interested in speaking on All or Nothing too much, or should we move on?
I had a question about it.
Your show, mate.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
Are we
Tony.
to be discussing that next Thursday since it premieres on Wednesday?
I don't know.
7 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock your time?
Probably
My time.
not heavily. Probably
Midnight
not.
UK time.
Go ahead, Tony.
I said midnight UK time next Thursday it premieres.
Oh, well. That's it.
7
We won't
o'clock
be-
for you guys Wednesday, 6 o'clock for me on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we won't have time to download it or watch it or download it.
4 p.m. for Stan on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, you can watch it.
John said he was at the Norwich game. Mike Hurst in here. Good to see Hersey. Yo, Hurts, BX Gunner. Sympathies, John, for that Norwich game. Listen, we remember back. Norwich, that was a tough game. We weren't playing well. We were down in the dumps, and the team were able to get that win. Um, hello, Magic Mike. What's up, BX Gunner? Gunner, hope all is well, buddy. Okay, hit the thumbs up. Okay, so that being said, Gary, the other thing that's going on today, this week was the Edu interview. So, any thoughts on the Edu interview?
Yeah, on him. It sounds like he definitely has a plan of getting us there. I was surprised to hear him say that fourth isn't anywhere near. He sounded fourth isn't really what they're all about. Essentially, is
Mm-hmm.
what he said.
Yeah.
They're here for a lot more than that. Which is the first time I've heard him say that, because the last time that we talked, he had a discussion or an interview about you know where he wanted to see the club. He just kind of wanted to see them play some good football. Is what he, if I recall, is what he said. So I don't know. I think maybe they're learning that when you're talking to the masses, the goal for a lot of people, I believe, is that we win it. We win something. We win a big trophy. We win the league. We win Champions League, right? European trophy. But that's a good thing to hear. That I guess maybe they're learning that playing some good football isn't the only thing that we're looking at, but it's good to see that they have a plan to try to win more, and that settling for top four isn't that's not what they're all about, which is really
Mm-hmm.
good. So I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more about that kind of talk from Arsenal, because like I said, the goal always has to be to be at the top, and it's nice to be able to finish. You need top four, but it's nice to be top four. But the goal is to win it all at the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
be at the top of the table. So that was good to hear. I believe also he may have mentioned that they still have some more work to do. So yeah, so I think that's promising, because there's still a lot of holes on this squad. No
Yeah.
matter what, no matter if everybody's healthy starting the season, there's still some holes that I think they need to fill. So we'll see
Yeah.
if they get that done. But yeah, like I said, I think the main thing was that top four, you know, isn't a trophy for them. They want more.
Yeah.
Or at least he
Um,
wants more.
Couple of things before I continue on with that one, then, Gary. John said, I'm not looking forward to the all or nothing thing. As when Spurs did it, all we did was take the piss. Are we in the line for some abuse? Certainly,
Oh,
we are in
definitely,
line. Yeah,
definitely.
100% we are in line for some abuse. But what I'm going to take from it is a look behind closed doors, albeit as maybe a censored look behind closed doors. We're not going to maybe see what really goes on, but we're going to see I hate to say the process, but the procedure of how things happen, let's say, and a little bit of interesting things here and there. We want to be done with these documentaries. We want to get on to being a football club that starts to win things. Why not said absolutely we are, John. Unfortunately, block and set mutings. Banter is part of the football as well. Nerdscape said we need a lot more, so let's see what happens. Gary, the other thing about it is that I took from that was top four is not a trophy. We need to be looking beyond top four, but also that it is Edu and Arteta working in tandem. And if you're gonna blame one, you have to blame the other for whatever's happening. If you want to not apportion blame and be happy with what's happening, you have to commend both Arteta
Well,
and
that's not necessarily true, is it? Because we don't
Edu.
blame Edu for Arteta's coaching. So there has to be certain things that Edu does that have nothing to do with Arteta. I don't think, unless you're telling me that Arteta and Edu actually doing the same job. I don't believe. I believe talks to Arteta about what's needed and all these types of things. But I think he needs to go out there and do his job as well. So I kind of feel like they both
They
have.
said it
There's
was
some
a two
separate.
man job, Gary.
There is some separation of duty there,
Mhm.
because I don't think Arteta is making calls while he's coaching and managing his squad, right?
Fair
So
enough.
I think for me, it's fair to separate them, but like you said, it's also fair to keep. There's certain things that they must do together, because we're assuming that bringing in, like we can say, like bringing in Tavage was maybe they both were okay with that. Then come to find out it didn't work out, so now they have to loan him out, and that's I do loaning the player out, not Arteta. I assume Arteta's not making any calls going. I think he should go here. He's probably saying I think he needs to go
Well,
where he can play, right? And that's Adu's job to get the player out on loan.
yeah, yeah, I would accept what you're saying. In tandem, identifying the players for the team is a good way to combine the two of them together. But of course, Arteta's going to work on the field, and Edu's going to work behind the scenes. Rule said based on the fact Edu did that interview, I think Arsenal is very confident. And we have to be looking confident. We have to start looking forward. The Tavares thing, Tony. Now that we have Zinchenko in the doors, we can let Tavares go out on loan and maybe play some more football and be either he's going to be a player for the future or he's going to be a player that we can sell for a profit, Tony.
Yeah, going to Marseille, he's more likely than not to be playing in a back three there, playing wing back, which he's good at. He's good at going forward. But I'm not sure how much he's going to get to work on. What he needs to is his defense. His defense is just totally lacking. We should have known that going on. Either we should have implemented a back three last season when Tyranny went out, or just went for somebody else because he's not a left back. Should have never been there for cover as a left back because they use that formation. I like the player. I think has the talent. It's just he hasn't really played as a defender. So hopefully he gets time to play as a defender, but it doesn't sound like he will in this one.
Yeah, listen, I like the player. I like the player as well, and he needs to learn how to be a defensive player as well. He's got a lot of physical attributes that will help him in the modern game, but he needs to learn how to defend as well. Gary, any
But
final?
if he's a wing back, then not so much, right?
Not so much if he's a wing back. Yep.
And if he's a wing back, then he's a wing back. Then they just identified the wrong position for a player and plugged him in the wrong hole, right? So I mean I think a lot of people feel he's a wing back. He'll always be a wing back. He's really good at it.
Do you
Defensively,
think?
there's things that at least that I never played the sport professionally or in college or anything like that. But there's things that if you're defensively minded, you wouldn't let happen. Not necessarily once, but you wouldn't let it happen again, a second time. And there were lapses in what I think is his understanding of the game to get beat defensively like he was. That maybe just aren't part of his makeup as a football player. You know what I mean? So maybe he's a wingback, and if that's the case, then maybe he'll get really good at being a wingback and either go to a system where he plays wingback, or when he plays for Arsenal, it will be in that particular role. I
Well,
just don't. I can't see someone who's been playing football for this long be that inept that the
he
defensive
he hasn't
responsibilities
played a
that he
lot of
has.
games. He has not played a lot of games.
No. I mean, over the course of his career, you're telling me he's never played defense before
Sure.
as a
Yeah.
football.
Okay. I'll accept
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, like even if you're playing at the school, there's certain things you get beat once, you don't get it doesn't happen again because you realize, wait a second, this guy's got one. Either I can't see him, so I don't know where he is, right? Or I make sure I'm closer just so I can defend him a lot
Yeah.
better. And that's not you
Yeah.
did is multiple times where you're just like, wow, that you just can't do that, and either that's just not going to happen because his mind doesn't work that way, you know. And if that's the case, then it's just not it's not going to work. It's like putting, you always say about a lot of people have talked about, I was a striker when I was younger. Next thing I know, I'm playing midfield or I'm on the back line. That's just where things go eventually, just because your talents on the pitch pretty much dictate where you play. So I kind of feel like
Hmm.
we'll see if he improves defensively, but I don't like you said if he's not playing as a defensive role, then it probably won't. But at least he'll get experience and be all the better for it, especially if he's able to help keep them up. And if he starts and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of a Saliba type thing where he plays for them and they depend on him and he keeps playing for them over and over and over again. And maybe they end up buying him if it doesn't work out for Arsenal in terms of what they want from the player.
Yeah. Tony, you know a lot about Olympic Marseille. You're always telling me about Olympic Marseille, but do they ever play a flat back four, or is it almost always exclusively a back three?
They play both.
Okay, so he will get hopefully some games as a left back as well, because I think Arsenal would have looked into that and asked those questions. Is he going to play as a left back? Is he going to play as a wing back? I think we've gotten quite decent at this in recent years, loaning some players out and having successful loan spells. The
I
problem
but
then
They
yeah.
is
might,
right,
but
Gary?
I was just going to
your
say that
question,
this
Ray.
this Tavares coming to Arsenal was a failure because he's not. I believe he came in, and most of everybody believed he came in as what, as a backup to Tierney.
Tierney, yeah.
So if that's the case, it failed. It was a failure. It was wrong. It didn't work out this time. They either identified the player wrong, or they thought he could pick it up, and they identified his potential wrong as well. Right. So
We
so for
don't
me,
know if it's a failure yet because the loan spell.
you don't bring in. We needed cover from Tierney. We
Okay,
knew
but how
that.
many games did they feel that he would have to cover for Tierney? Not 20.
You needed cover for Tierney, and he hadn't played over 20 plus games in a season since he'd been at Arsenal. So that's why you bring in a player to back him up, right? When's the last time he played over 20, 5 games in his career, in the last 4 years of his career? None.
You could say the same about Zinchenko.
We'll see how long he lasts. Yeah. Maybe they
Uh,
did it again, right?
Unless look, there's loan will determine. We have a good asset in Tavares. If he can improve on this with this loan, we have a saleable asset, and that's where this club needs to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Assets that we can sell for a profit.
No, and BX Gunner, Tavares isn't a failure, but the reason why I believe they brought him in as a failure because he's not able to fulfill the responsibilities with the player, the position that I think they brought him in for, which was to back up Tierney.
Mm.
At some point they would rather put once you go down the road of I'll try out Xhaka at left back because maybe it's not working. I kind of felt like that's one of those flares that goes up going, wait a second. Isn't that why you brought him
That's
in, though, to
break
play that
glass in
position?
case of
Right?
emergency thing there.
Yeah, but then they went right back to it. So that's that kind of all right. Maybe we were wrong about that too. So it's like all this not insecurity, but all this back and forth with the mindset. And then now he's going to go out on loan. So I see that as not being what you wanted, right?
Tony.
Yeah.
As I go back to Marseille, they sold their central defensive mid, which was the best one in the league. So they might be using a back three more, or they might switch Guendouzi from being a box to box to be more of a defensive mid.
We are turning into we're turning Marseille into a feeder club, as it were, for Arsenal. We have a lot of players there right now. Tony, this question's for you. I think we can all answer it, but this is your specialist topic as well. I think because it touches on Zinchenko and maybe Granit Xhaka, right? Mike Hurst asked, does acquiring Zinchenko that can play in both left back and central midfield ease our need for a new central midfielder? That's my fear. That is my fear that nothing will be done in midfield because of this situation with Zinchenko. If Tierney's fit, Zinchenko could possibly play in midfield. What's your thoughts, Tony?
As much as Tierney's been hurt, as much as Zinchenko's been hurt, I see Zinchenko filling in quite a bit as left back, so that still leaves you with a central midfielder you need.
Yeah.
I think we need two more regardless. I just don't see us. Everybody assumed we bought him for a central midfielder, but I don't think we really did. I think our eye was at left back more than anything, because that's where he's played 82% of his career. That's because he played there for Ukraine, and players play in other positions. Tierney plays in the back three for Scotland. I think that's a bit priority.
Yeah, I think we have a player here, Gary, who can fill in certain situations. I think he was bought essentially to cover for Kieran Tierney, but if Kieran Tierney can play, he's going to maybe play midfield. And does that bump Granit Xhaka out a little bit in some games?
It should. He should be bumped out anyway. With Zinchenko, you got Vieira, you got Smith Rowe. All those guys, to me, if you're playing two eights, one on the left, both attacking, there's not a spot for Zaka in there. There's just
Gary,
not.
Gary's lip syncing.
Yeah,
Gary's agreeing with me and telling us to
I,
move
I
on.
don't even know. I don't know what you said. I was too busy lip syncing because I was speaking. I was
Oh,
not saying
fuck
any
you
words,
too,
but
Gary. I'm gonna
When
pay
BX
attention to what
said
he's saying.
Zinchenko is going to be so crucial to this squad, I think he will
yeah,
be as well.
yeah. No, I mean,
Quality.
I've been saying all along we need depth. So I don't think one player can be depth for two position or be depth for one position and then be a starter for another. Right? I believe he should be a starter for the. I believe he can be a starter for our team, which would put him in midfield. Right?
Yep.
If Perny's healthy, he can roll back and play there if we need to, which is a good thing. Um, but I believe he should be starting for us. And if that's the case, then maybe that does put Xhaka back. But I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, will he be if Tierney were, for example, miraculously be healthy for most of the season? Would he be happy, kind of like coming in for a game here or there, or being part of a real rotation where he'll get a sequence of games to play? So yeah, no, I mean, I kind of felt like he should be a starter for Arsenal, but we'll see how that all pans out. So yeah, that's my thinking there. I mean, I think the fact that he can play both positions is nice, but I think we still either need another left back or definitely another midfield, regardless of what we do. So
Mm-hmm.
that should happen regardless. I think we definitely need more squad depth and
Yeah.
coverage for his positions. I mean, the key, and we'll get into this, but the key backup that we need is somebody that can either cover for Partey in terms of the responsibilities that he has, or at least be more of a CDM in that position because Partey, I believe he can play CDM, but I mean, I think, like I said before, I'd rather have him push up further up the pitch if we really had it, got the right player in. So
Yeah.
that's my thought there.
We definitely need a couple of midfielders. I agree with this nerdscape. Um, but it looks like they need to offload some deadwood. So that's the situation. Deadwood needs to be offloaded as well. Um, things need to move,
Seems
and
like two pieces of dead wood spelled out the door.
yeah,
Bellerin and Tavac.
Bellerin, Tavares, Bernd Leno's held up a little bit. Fulham don't seem as interested now as they were before, um, and maybe Hector Bellerin and Mari moving on as well.
Well,
Neves,
Fulham has two keepers thereafter, so they can kind of play hardball. Both
the
clubs.
ex said Neves is perfect fit. Pay him the money. Pay the money. Get him in. Always like right backs whose main duty is defending.
I
That's
think
it.
if you're on the back line and you're not able to defend, I think that's a problem.
Yes.
That's like almost saying you could play the front line, but you know what? Putting the ball in the net is
Well, that was
something
always
you just
Bellerin's
struggle with,
problem.
right?
Bellerin was never much of a defender. It's his speed that got him back there to cover. Then once his speed was gone, the
And
worthless player there on the
But
right
see,
side.
that's when you adjust, and then you're not necessarily thinking, but you're a little bit smart about how you play the game.
I know, but
He would just
didn't
he
do
would
that. You
but he
figure
would
he'd
just
just stay in
he would
position.
he would just bomb up the field and leave. I just remember him leaving
yeah,
holding, standing there with it, with his hands,
holding.
basically just
Yeah.
holding. Just was got punished, and it's like, well, where was his fullback up the pitch, stuck, in the box kind of thing, and it's like. At some point, you're like, "No, dude, don't leave me hanging here. Not at this team, right?" I think that's what I remember,
Yep.
right? He left holding there to try to
Hey, one
battle with.
one of the last things I think Gary and I will remember about Bellerin is the goal he was up on the other side of the pitch when I think it was Kane scored in Northern
from the
Derby
far corner, right? Put the ball in the
18
far. I
months
think
ago.
put the ball in that far corner, and it's like
Hmm.
we had no cover. We had no cover for our center back there, and he was just left by
That was
himself.
that was it. 2-0, halftime, game over, and we put a million crosses in, couldn't get anywhere. Anyway, I think we have
I
improved
can't
slightly.
imagine one time six
Yeah,
years
see,
ago
real right there.
Barcelona
That the
was to
awareness
give
of
us
opponent's
50 million
position.
for it.
That right there is a trait that you, as a defensive player, you need to know.
Yeah,
And then yeah, you have to know
I,
that. And
and it's
I don't think that's something you just, oh, okay, I didn't know it this season, I'll pick it up next season. It's something that's always there, and most players, and I think anybody who's played football knows about what that actually
yeah,
means, right?
yep.
So,
Man, this is
so are
strange.
we happy,
Gary and
Bellerin?
I are agreeing on most things so far. This is very, very surreal.
Are we
Don't worry,
happy
no
we
worries.
terminated
We're only
Bellerin's
what
contract?
36 minutes in. We got another
We'll
hour
find
plus
some.
to just like disagree on for the rest of
We'll
the
find
show.
some, Tony. Yeah. Listen, rule is right. You switch off for 2 seconds, a player's gone 5, 6 yards past you. Um,
And you
like
can't do
the
that when it's Ronaldo.
yeah.
Like Ronaldo, like one of the best scorers in the
Listen,
world of all
yeah,
time. You
yeah.
can't
And
just switch off with him. Never.
Ronaldo. That was a little bit Gabriel as well. Don't be. Don't be.
Well, but you know what? That I told you. What did I tell you before that game?
I don't know.
Gabriel needed to know that what his teammate can't do next to him, and Gabriel needed to be the bet. Needed to take control of that, and he didn't. Right, and that's
I
because
think.
he's young, right? He's still young to this thing, and you wouldn't expect somebody first, after what 2 years in that position in the Premier League to probably take over control that situation and make sure that his right back or left back, I think he's left back, doesn't leave him hanging. And that's
Yeah.
what happened.
A lot
They
of
both let
goals.
each other down.
A lot of goals get conceded when a central defender passes off responsibility to a fullback or vice versa. That's when breakdowns can happen. Thunder Road said new manager at Marseille is Sam. There is a new manager at Marseille. Sam
Yeah.
Paoli did leave. The ex-gunner saying Tavares has got potential, and we want that potential to be realized. Whether it's realized with Arsenal or if we get a sale for turning players on profit. That's the way it's got to be, and that's how you're running as a football club. Depends on how you're selling.
That is the way.
Mm.
This is the way. It's definitely a failure with Tavares and a lot of Arteta signings. Um, Tavares will tear up the Farmers League.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there's a future for Tavares. He seems to be rated in Europe. He's gathered more interest from other clubs than most of the players. We actually want to move on.
But you know what? And that's the youth and the potential that he possesses, right? He still has time to fill in, whereas the other players, they've seen enough of that. Nothing is changing. Nothing's changing, as they say, right? All right. They've seen
Yep.
enough. It's not gonna like they know exactly what kind of player they're gonna get. So either they like it or they don't.
Tony, are you a boyhood Marseille ultra? A little bit, a little bit. He's recruiting for Marseille. He has been recruiting all summer for Marseille, right? Can we bring Guendouzi back, please? I'm sorry, fellas. I love him.
Do you see him getting a fight because of who is he fighting with
Real
today? Where
Beltis headbutting
Somebody
yeah,
him.
we
ran
know what
up
we
and
know why because he's
headbutted him.
pissed
I
off
don't
that
blame him.
they won't take Bellerin. He's trying to close the deal. That's why he was fighting with them.
Last word, I think, on Tavares. Tavares was a backup and not a competitor to Tierney. Once we reach Champions League, we will buy another left back. Yeah, very, very
What
true.
and the problem with that is that Tierney isn't around long enough, so we definitely need a solid backup, somebody who can actually play the position, not somebody who's still learning it for the what seems like the first time.
Nerdscape said there's a left back we recently signed in the academy, so maybe they're going to give him a shot.
Yeah,
You
but from
have
what
to.
I saw, from what I saw from Walters, if there are similar players in their academy, why not give them a chance? Like we're talking about players at the end of the bench that they come in and learn.
Walters had that
Yeah.
defensive mindset, always thinking
Mhm.
and sweeping up. I know it was the first game of the season at Nuremberg, but he did clean up there at the back. Why not? Arsenal Misfit said, "Why not?" As much as I would like to see Guendouzi back, he's no longer our player. He belongs to Marseille. And Tony, I put it to you, he still hasn't matured a little bit.
I think he has. Somebody comes up, tries to hell headbutt you, you still have a little bit of temper. He did get, like I said, he got one of the 11 of the French league. Then he got the newcomer / sliding of the year. So he did
All right,
had a good season.
let's talk about incomings, outgoings a little bit before we talk about our new a new signing. Uh, but Frankie De Jong saga is crazy. Should we move for him? I think he's waiting there for Manchester. Maybe he doesn't want to go to Man United. I can't see anything happening to Frankie.
I don't understand why, if Man United has the money, why don't they just pay him the 17 mil so they can get him and move on?
He doesn't want to go there. Is the problem.
Yep. John Smith, Tavares is going out alone. He's going to Olympic Marseille. I think there's a medical.
He's already. You think he's already there now? Tomorrow morning they do the physical.
Gary, really cannot see any more signings before Palace away from home. That's probably true, in my opinion.
I don't like that, but it's probably true. I don't like it because we've been doing nothing really.
We're at
And
the stage.
we need players.
They might sneak one in the door.
I don't get why after Palace would be any different than just getting them now.
It's dependent. So incomings now, I think we're at the stage where incomings are dependent on outgoings because we have.
Why do we always say that? We've bought 120 million of players so far.
I know, but we have 30.
Anybody.
We have 33 players now on our squad, and
I don't understand why that number even matters because we usually just give them away anyways.
We'll give them
That's
away.
like as I asked, are we happy that Bellerins get terminated? Is that a good solution?
Not happy that any player walks away for nothing because I think that's part of the problem. And until
well,
like,
at least we don't have to pay him anything. No settlement, no salary. He just walks away.
Rule says we're not learning from mistakes. So I'm going to ask Tony and Gary. Tony, I'll go with Tony first. Where do you stand? Do you want to wait and haggle for an extra $3 million, or do you want to sell your players, the outgoings, easily and quickly for a little bit of a less than expected?
Let's see. Last year we had Zaka, just a couple million euros. Niles, a couple million pounds. A couple other players, just a couple million euros, couple million pounds. I'm not haggling over that little bit of money like we did the whole summer with Tierney. I mean, we ended up paying like $2 million more than we originally said we were going to. Why spend all fucking summer with it? Just sell them for a loss. You have to pay a little bit more for a player instead of going through all the hassle all summer long. Buy them. Same thing as selling them.
Yep.
I don't have a future at the club. I'm tired of these perpetual loans. All we've been doing is basically paying the salaries for the players, but we're still stuck with them. We still got Tierney, still got Bellerin that we can't get out the door. Just get rid of them. It's not that hard.
Gary? Hold out for, let's take Leno for an example, okay? 12 million or 8? Or do you hold out for 10?
I mean, he's a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League. He is.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he's worth 10?
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, he's not. But I mean, he's not. He's worth a lot more.
That's
than
not
that.
what Gary said last week. He said he was
15.
worth
I'd go for. I'd like to sell him for 15 myself.
He's a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yep.
And you're telling me they want him for 8? I think that's what does they say? He's taking the piss. I mean, nah. I mean that's pretty. That just shows the disrespect that Arsenal gets in the transfer market, right? You have a player that is actually a starter, and they're not gonna. They want to pay him. That's just a little bit more than you pay for. Like when we got Matty Ryan, I think we might have paid $5 million for him. So you're telling me for $3 million you can get a starting goalkeeper and not just a reserve who sits in the back, right? So I kind of feel like that's where Arsenal is. They're looked at poorly, and part of me feels like that's the way it's going because we don't play the players when they probably should because there are opportunities for Leno to play when Ramsdale was struggling in the season. It could have been nice to give him a little bit of a break, and then you put in Leno and kind of freshen things up a little bit. So I kind of feel like that's why I always feel like we need to be rotating our players. We're not doing it, and that's when we get punished for it later when people are like, "Well, he played him what 4 times or 5 times in the season. Maybe he's not a starter." When in reality he is, right?
Mhm.
He's probably dropped in the
He's a
order for
Premier League goalkeeper,
yeah, he could definitely
mid to
he
bottom.
can start for definitely the bottom 10 easily,
Yeah,
right? He started
he's
for us
112.
and we considered him one of our top players at the time,
Yeah,
right? So I kind of feel like you know,
he's
it's
probably
it's
better Fabianski or Areola. West Ham down from there,
yeah.
eighth, ninth, 10th place.
I mean,
Um,
and like you said, like it could be a scare. Like you could be looking at Turner and going, "Ooh, do we really need to bring in? Do we really need to sell Leno?" No, we don't need to sell him, especially if Turner maybe scares them a little bit. And if they don't get the money for him, then they could be willing to just keep him, and maybe Turner goes out on loan or something crazy like that because they've done that already. So yeah, no, I kind of feel like the Leno they should get what they expect for him, and I think he's worth it. And they probably might get it towards the end of the window, but
okay,
definitely worth
Tony,
it.
Tony.
Well, with Schmeichel retiring from Leicester, there's an obvious solution. Let's give them 15 million.
Is he
We
retiring
get
or is he
Tillmans. They
going
get
to
Leno.
Nice?
He's
Is
going
he
to Nice.
retiring? He's
He's
going
going
to
to
Nice, right?
Well, he's leaving Leicester. We don't care what he's doing.
If the player doesn't want to go, what do you do, Tony?
Leno would want to go to Leicester. Why wouldn't he
He
want to go
doesn't
to
want to
Leicester?
go outside of London.
Well,
That was supposedly the reason why Fulham fits him perfectly is because he doesn't have to leave London.
Yeah. The year is 2052.
boo-hoo.
Legendary Tony Turner still believes that Guendouzi would be a future star. just replace the name of the player. It could work for a lot of different players, right, Tony?
Well,
BX Gunner, you asked for too little. We need three.
League Goon, 11 of a year. He's a good player.
A little bit what Gary's talking about. Okay, we'll see what happens with Bernd Leno. Listen, we're probably gonna have to settle for 9 or 10 million, whatever it is. But Gary, Edu, going back to that Edu interview, he kind of talked about it. Players that are comfortable on decent money and they had a good lifestyle at Arsenal. Well, this is where we have to try to move these players on, Gary.
Well, the fact that he's saying
But
it
we
means
keep
that
paying them the salaries, though. That's the problem.
Keep giving them good salaries, yeah. Who's
No,
going to be Tony and who's going to be Gary here?
I don't know. Whenever Gary talks, it sounds like Tony. So I don't know.
Whenever Tony talks, it sounds like Gary. So.
No, it does not. I haven't interrupted you today yet.
Do you have it? I was sitting there with my hand up for like fucking.
Why I was talking? How can I interrupt you when I'm talking?
Ding 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 ding! Ready? I hope you're watching. Ready?
Ray asked you a question and you fucking chimed in.
No, he didn't ask you a question. I was still answering the Leno question.
Ray, did you?
Yeah,
I was answering the Leno question.
I asked at one time 5 or 10 minutes ago. I asked Tony a question, and you took it. But anyway, I let the two of you figure it out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear that.
But yeah,
Put
Gary.
the salt down, Marty. Put
Gary.
the salt shakers down.
Yes, sir.
Gary, Edu did talk about this. I'm thinking about Nicola Pepe. Case in point, being paid quite well. We don't know what his temperament. Nobody knows what Pepe's thinking. Is he really happy at Arsenal? It looks like from his Instagram post, he's happy and willing to stay another season. But these are the type of players that Edu is trying to move on. It's not always that easy, right?
Well, I've said it all along. Arsenal's created this mess, and Edu and Arteta,
Raul,
they're all part of this. They've all created this mess, and to say they wanted to get out certain types of characters because of that they were detrimental to the squad. Well, all of these players that he's talking about, that's them. That's what they did. They created that situation as well because they re-signed some of those players they're talking about. So I kind of feel like you're talking about something you created. You just need you didn't realize what you were doing. I guess
Well, this
you're
was
learning now.
Raul. This was Raul Sanei
I know, but
with Pepe.
at some point when you come in, it's your mess now.
Yeah.
You can complain about it being Raul's mess back when he was in charge. It's your mess now, so now you have to fix it. So has Pepe changed since Adu and Arteta have been in there? No, nothing has changed. He's the same player, and you let it happen over and over and over again. Every season, we look at the same player doing the same thing, going, "Why don't you just move him on?" Because you obviously don't like the type of player he is. You have certain kind of characteristics for the players that you want to bring in. He is obviously not it. You don't want to. You don't trust him. You don't have confidence in him. You will not play him. So then you're wasting your money. No matter if you sell him for cheap, anyways, it doesn't really matter because you're not playing him. So what's the point of spending that money on his salary if you really want him to go in the way that you're treating him? He needs to go. He needed to have gone sooner than later because he's just been dragging around, taking up a spot. Right, that spot could have been used by like an academy player,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Or you take whatever money you got from him, you bring in a younger player. Think about it. You got 25 for Pepe last season. You could have gone out and got one of those strikers, those young strikers that were out there for that price, right?
Alvin Tony.
Yeah, you could have gone out and got that. So for me, it's you're just because it was somebody else's mess, it's not anymore. It's yours, right? So I
Yeah,
kind of feel
you inherit the mess, you try to fix it, and that's what we've been doing window after window. Rule says it only matters who's registered in 25. So even if it's 33 or 37 players, it's who's registered. So I don't buy into clearing deadwood. There's players that know they're not going to have, they're not going to
because
be there.
Mustafi was like when we were around and we didn't play him. All right,
Yeah,
he was over
there's a couple. Yep.
Later
And he said,
on, next window, we bought out his contract.
Fulham wants to shop at Waitrose with Sainsbury's budget. Yeah, listen, players know they need moves. The clubs know they need moves. It's going to go into the season. We hate it, but it's going to go till the end of the month. Is it the end of the month in August, Tony, when the window closes?
Yep.
31st of August. Wow, or the 30th, whatever. Turner is not good one day. Cronky, come get your guy.
Tony, you leaving us?
I'm not.
He said Turner. He said Turner.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
Marty.
which one he was thinking about. It could have been
You
you.
better ask him.
Rose said, I think until we regain Champions League, we will not get back respect in selling our players. And I want to say there's 5 or 6, maybe more, right? Players.
Why is that an Arsenal problem? And what about the other 14 other teams?
It's not just an Arsenal problem. Every squad has players that need to move on, and it's difficult to move them on. Oxlade Chamberlain needs a move from Liverpool. He's still at Liverpool.
But you're saying Champions League, which means 16 teams cannot sell any of their players.
No, every team in the Premier League has players that they need to move on.
Yeah.
We just have a few more.
That kind of makes it harder to ship him off.
BX Gunner said every team is trying us with business. BC of the past idiotic decisions, we need to adopt a hard stance. So BX wants to be a little bit harder on teams. There's money in the Premier League. Fulham have money. We know Fiorentina had money for Torreira.
See, he says second choice keeper, but is Fulham taking him to be their second choice keeper? I don't believe so.
Is seen as second choice keeper though at present at our club. John's saying.
No, I know, but he's a starter. It doesn't matter. Like there are players that we just picked up, Jesus and Zinchenko, and some might say, you know what, they don't play all the games, so they can't be starters. But they are. They just don't play a full season, right?
At
for whatever
Manchester City,
reason, right?
there's probably 3 players at Manchester City that are starters. The rest rotate.
Yeah, but that's because they have a big squad,
Yes,
right?
and a good squad.
So the bigger your squad, the less players have to play 38 games in a season,
Correct.
outside of probably the goalkeeper, and that's
Wow.
what you want because we always keep saying we want depth. So I don't see how you can turn it. I don't see how we can say we want deep squad so we can rotate our squad and then say that's a negative
Either
because
way,
that's what we.
Arteta's a bitch about it.
I agree with you, and it's
2 years ago,
55.
it's too big. Last year, too small. Now it's too big again.
It's 55 minutes now that Gary and I have been in agreement. We might get to the hour
Damn
yet.
it! This is not working.
They've not played Leto in preseason,
Somebody say something that just lights the fuse. Come on.
so he's not in the plans. Why not said Arsenal? There's no club structure. The management structure is broken. Wage structure is broken.
If this keeps up to the hour mark, you and Gary have to have a live watch along next Friday in person.
Okay then. I've got what I can for before going off to sleep. Yeah, really saw.
I guess we had a little bit of a
It was
spat,
a Gary Tony thing, apart from being behind
right?
closed doors.
Yeah, no,
Big
no.
Stunner,
I get the Leno thing. I just think we can get more from. But like you said, the sooner out, the more the money comes in, and we can make some moves. So
yep. I think it's time. We're going to see some of these players moving for less than we would have wanted. We have to hope there's not too many players after this window that we have this situation in.
I mean, a lot of people are soured to Maitland-Niles, and that's just. I think that's disappointing for him because he's never going to get a better opportunity than he had with Arsenal. I
Yeah.
think so.
BX, listen, it's great to have all of you here, all 15 of you. Brilliant that you're here on the Thursday Night Forum. Thank you for watching. Ainsley, Maitland-Niles, Torreira, Bellerin, Xhaka, Mari, Holding, Cedric, gone as soon as possible. There is that one. I think there is that one hill there that Arteta is going to die on. X marks the spot, Tony, right?
Yep.
Arteta and Edu handed out new contracts, not just the fraud of Raul. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I always find it weird when people say, when Aubameyang left, that was a Raul signing or whatever, and it's like, no, they got renewed, and then they changed gears.
I was
So
I was
that was their player when he left. It wasn't anybody else's.
BX going to say, and to be honest, I'm only saying Xhaka because he has a target on his back, and that is a liability to us. Gary, I was thinking about this on the drive home from work today.
You're thinking of Granite Xhaka on the drive home?
Thinking about this. Let me propose what I was thinking.
You didn't drive off the road thinking about this?
As much as it hurts to sell players, we have to start selling players at the height of their sale value.
Yep.
Now, there's a few outliers, Saka being one of them. He's a generational talent. We can't really. I would hate to do that this summer or next summer.
Yep.
But for the vast majority of the squad, sell them for a decent price. If Tierney comes back into the team and plays till January, sell him if we get 35 or 40 million offer for Kieran Tierney.
If you bring in a center mid that replaces Jocker, yeah, you could do it. But you still need a left back regardless, right? So you're gonna still need a left back. So who's gonna be our left back?
Identify a left back.
Second one, right? So
yeah. Yeah, but listen, I think we have to be ready to do these things, Tony. Sell players that we become attached to in a little bit. Really said, Tony, where's Alonso, a.k.a. Gene Kakovic? Alonso will be joining us late. He said late. So very much like the caption on the title here, connecting the dots. It's a very loose title that's
the Pepsi and some nachos.
I agree with why not there. You can't. Pepe definitely sitting on the bench just does him no good.
The only thing I can think is he's looking at Europa League. He's looking at cup games.
He's a better player than that.
Yep.
He's
I
a
agree.
better player than okay. We'll just give him
Again,
the 8 Europa League games, and maybe
we
not even
agree.
the 8 because if we have an easy route and we win like the first 6, you're not gonna want to. You wouldn't usually just have to play him because you would save him for other games that you might need, right? So I kind of feel like we'll kind of that's belittling him. He should be better than that. He hasn't been, which is disappointing. But yeah,
Rule said the level of our deadwoods also affect the prices of others. To get rid of some, we have to give away.
hmm
Matt Turner should be privileged that he shares the same surname as the great prophet Tony.
the
Um,
great prophet.
not the price of players, just wages. These bums want their extortionate wages in other clubs? No, most of these players aren't worth a damn.
I just kind of feel like teams that want Arsenal's players that actually got a benefit out of them being with them on a loan, for example,
Mm.
both sides should feel a little bit.
Good about
Arsenal,
it. Yeah.
No, they should feel something. They should have to sacrifice something, right?
Price, money,
Something they need to either.
a fee.
The only way the buying team sacrifices anything is they give some money up, or a player on another way go another way. But I kind of feel like Arsenal shouldn't be the one taking 100% of this, right? That's why they should be giving some money. It's not like they're not out there buying players. And how many times have you said, well, we can't sell this player, or we can't go out and buy a player and then expect to get a discount over here. That's exactly what they're doing. And we're all going, just let him go. So if that's the case, then when Arsenal does it, it shouldn't be a problem, right? We can play poor as well, right? We can, or we should. We're not paying for whatever reason because they have money to spend. We've seen it. They're buying players as we speak and saying no to
He does.
Bellerin
Yep.
and Torreira. How is that?
John said, "Would you sell Emil Smith Rowe? He seems redundant now, to be honest." And that would be one that would hurt me a little bit, Emil Smith Rowe. But if everybody's got a price, and if the right price came in, it would have to be close to 50 million for me at least for Emil Smith
We're
Rowe.
not going to get near that much
40,
for him.
50. Why?
I
A
think
player
we
that
get over.
scored 10 goals before Christmas last season.
And then got COVID and the season went to shit. Then we got Fabio for whatever reason.
So then maybe there's a reason for that.
Looking
On
I would
this,
like. I would like to see. I would like to see this Fabio play so I can say, all right, we got a
Little
player
back,
or we don't.
yeah.
So
we hear good things about him, but we want to see it on the field. BX Gunner said Liverpool did sell Sterling, a player I think agitated for the move, but Liverpool were decisive. They sold him. They got the cash. 50 million at the time was a lot of money for Sterling, and he's moved to Chelsea now. Gary.
yeah, and this is one of those things where if you're doing your due diligence and looking at players and you see a player that fits your profile and maybe costs less than you thought, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in for a lot of.
And
Oh,
look
I
at
didn't even.
that
You know
avatar.
what? I was gonna say something. I was like, he changed it to
Gary,
Henri, but
still
then I
on
didn't
the
notice. I didn't
website.
notice. I made the
I
picture.
would
You
draw
know,
everyone's attention to
every
the
time
bottom
John
left
comes
hand corner.
into the chat, I'm always like, should I ask him to make another picture? And he made one anyway. So there you go.
I, I
Thank you,
I
John. I
already
appreciate
put it
that.
out there. I put it out there as soon
I
as
didn't
we
see it. I
mentioned it
haven't
was.
seen it. So there you go. So thank you,
Real,
John.
real,
I
real.
like you.
Here,
Like
there's
your
a
work.
sequence here with Tierney. Fourth season with Tierney injured. When we bought Tierney, he was injured.
Yeah, we just bought Vieira and he was injured.
I hate to
Supposedly.
say, the club were probably
And we
thinking
bought Partey, and he was injured and been
this
injured
season
most
it'll be
recently.
different. This season, Tierney will get 30 games.
No.
That's what the club are thinking. At John Smith, keep Emil Smith Rowe, depth, Europa League, etc. And definitely, I would keep our best players for them throughout this season. hopefully we are going to get to a Europa League final. West Ham got to the semi-final, and we're a better team, in my opinion,
I
than
mean,
West
yeah.
Ham. All right,
So right now, Erdogan, they're not in the World Cup, right?
Norway, no,
Yeah.
don't
So
think so.
so like Erdogan,
Scotland,
Vieira, ESR, they're all most likely going to be home
Emil
this
Smith Rowe
World Cup.
should make the England squad.
He should make it. You think? Who's he
Yeah,
going
he
to
was
take? You,
squad. He's not going to
mm,
start, but there's going to be 21, a 21 man squad. I think.
hmm,
That said, guys, don't panic about the Brentford match. Only Eddie and Cedric are the only players that will play for the first team. That's
yeah.
listen
I
preseason.
actually was. I was actually happy about the way that game went because I always look at performances, and
Yeah.
at least from the reading that I was reading about the second half, they actually did play well. They didn't score any goals, but the other team had to make some saves to stop us. And I'll take performances over results, and especially in a preseason. The first half they got. It sounds like they got sucker punched a little bit, but I think in the second half they kind of buckled down and played a better game. They didn't get the goals, but that's what you want to see. And if saw them playing like that, maybe it's a plus. But that's kind of how I
I'll
looked at the
say
half.
hello to Troy for joining us. Thank you, Troy. Listen,
Mr. Jarvis.
don't panic about the Brentford match, Tony. Listen, you want your squad players to step up and play well. Gary said the performance is there. The goals was not there. We didn't get the result. But preseason is about getting fitness into the legs, getting the sharpness into the players, and getting the whole squad ready to go for next Friday. That's the
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah. It was kind of pointless to have a closed door because we have the Emirates Cup, so it's just getting those fringe players some time. I don't know why they're doing it under 23 doing stuff, but it is what it is.
And
So to
that's
speak.
it. Those are players, Tony, who will not play this weekend against Sevilla, and they needed to gain. They needed a game to get some rhythm into the legs. They're training, and now you need some match fitness and match sharpness. The
Yeah,
Scottish national team
we
also.
don't do very good in a lot of those closed door ones.
Yeah, yeah, our record's not good there. Yeah, hasn't helped by overplaying him in friendlies. Glad they didn't qualify for the World Cup. Yeah, Tierney going into the World Cup, we couldn't. Whatever about Tierney without a World Cup, with a World Cup would be a different proposition. What about Valencia asking Arsenal to give Torreira a new contract so they can loan him when did Arsenal work for Valencia? Indeed.
When they want
No,
a new contract, what at a lower salary or something? Is that what they want?
the
They wanted
easiest
to
thing is
give
just to terminate it. Just terminate it, let him walk. It's not
50 million for Kieran Tierney. I'm sorry, but I would say thank you very much, Kieran Tierney. Go and play with another team and all the best. You know what I mean?
Barry would give him a reach around before they lift.
If it was 35, I'd take that deal. If it was 35, I would take that deal. Ramsdale, Middlesbrough, Rose, Saka, and White are going to the World Cup.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Those four. And it's good to see English representation back in within Arsenal. It's been a long time coming.
And the
I think,
Brazilian players that probably have a long go at the World Cup as well.
yeah, could be England versus Brazil. Tony, Rule said, I think that practice match was a decider on who will stay. These are fringe players. Who's going to stay? Who needs to go?
I don't see that being as a decider. I think I already know who's that go. It's just trying to negotiate with contracts to what they find favorable or not. I know who needs to go.
Why
Still
not
not
said
sure
I?
why my only thing is why do they all come with America? I didn't want to see them all come.
So listen, we're going to get into some more chat. We're going to talk about Saliba next. Want to talk about Jesus and then Kadia. Want to talk about Tomiyasu, Tierney, and Emil Smith Rowe, who are back to full fitness. I don't think they're going to start next week because you
Are
need to.
they in full fitness? Because you just seen Tommy
Uh,
Asu just running. I don't think
they're
he's in contact
eligible.
training.
They are eligible to play. Let's say they're eligible to train. So listen, that's what we're going to get into in the last hour of this podcast. I hear Gary ask how we can't sell players Bellerin, Torreira, because we have 336 million of players left on free or paid off. Mkhitaryan, Kolasinac, Mustafi, Ozil. What you can get away with? Do
You
you
forgot the biggest one on there, the 7 million that we owed the Boomerang.
at least three Arsenal players going to the World Cup? It's been a minute since we've had some representation. Gary, latest rumor over here: Paqueta wants to move to Spurs. What a wind up! Yeah, and we did talk about Terry Neal earlier, Des, about that. So rest in peace, Terry Neal.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Paqueta. I mean, he's not starting for them, right? So he's just going to be coming off the bench for them. Where at Arsenal, maybe he gets a starting position. So maybe it's important to maybe Champions League does matter, but I kind of feel like that plus Conte plus playing with world class players in Son and Kane does a lot for marketing your club to players who want to come in and play for them, right? I mean, if you have a chance to go play with De Bruyne, you go, right? You have a chance to go play, with Van Dyke and Salah, you go,
uh,
right?
Des was saying, rip up Bellerin's contract, get him off the wage bill.
Mm. I get the
Okay,
savings part there. Yeah.
all right, Saliba, Tony, Saliba. What have you got to say about Saliba? Next Friday, he could be actually starting for Arsenal in a
Could
competitive
be.
game for the first time.
Could still be leaving before the window closes.
Gary, what do you say to that?
Can I speak, or Tony, you have some more to say?
I have more to say, but he went
We'll
to you.
finish up. Go ahead, finish.
He went to you.
I,
He, he's
Yeah,
coming back to me.
I
Tony,
definitely will be
let,
on Saliba for a few minutes.
let it go, Tony. It's not going away. That that's just sackable. That's what does it say? Non-negotiable
It's a
that he leaves.
non-negotiable,
There's
Would
exactly.
no
he
way.
be here if Tomiyasu was healthy?
What does that matter? We still
Because it
Tommy Yasu plays
matters.
right back.
Because the player wanted guaranteed playing time. Now you have your right back out. And now one of the center backs is playing right back.
I wouldn't let Saliba go unless they're gonna spend the money, right? And you know what that money is going to be more than they can afford.
Mm.
There's no way it's an easy. There's no way that's an easy. He's got a lot of potential. He's still young, which means you're paying for the youth, right? That's 60, 70 mil to make it worth your time to let him go after one waiting for him as long as we did.
3 years.
So
Yeah.
now it just makes. I mean, if he says he's not gonna play, if you can't guarantee him minutes, then he's got to go, right? Because then he's not gonna. His head's already out of there. But he sounds like he wants to play for Arsenal. I
Yeah.
mean,
John,
the whole smoke screen of the Marseille, president coming seems like it had nothing to do with him. We'll see,
look,
or maybe it did. But with Tavage going over there, maybe that's what was going on there.
yep. Placate Olympic Marseille. Placate them with the Tavares move. Listen, Steven's right here. Saliba moved. We have absolutely no hope. We're trying to build for something here. And
You
you
see
want
that
to
center
know
back pairing, and you'd say, let's break it up. Why would you break up that center back pairing?
I didn't say it.
No, I'm just saying because Tony's saying that he's gone, and I'm like,
Which center
that's
back?
what.
Gabriel and Saliba looked really good, right?
Yeah,
Looked really good.
yeah.
I don't know why you changed the back four right now.
John
Rush
Smith.
either one of the
Yeah,
fullbacks back.
I don't think we're going to break up the back four. Saliba has been class alongside Gabriel. I think I would do what I can to make him happy, but I fear his heart is in France. I think his heart is at Arsenal. Leon needs to sell, says Rule. Stylistics here. If Saliba leaves before the window closes, it would be a massive mistake. I don't see that happening, Gary. Do you?
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's like I said, non-negotiable. That you might as well get. That's why the manager at Marseille got fired, right? Because he couldn't bring in. He probably sold. I can get Saliba in, and they said, "All right, go do it," and he didn't. He failed. Selling Saliba after all that, that's sackable. At this
Um,
point, when we're trying to build, we barely got a starting 11. Now you're going to try to just thought that whole
it's
process,
not
right?
happening.
By letting players go that could be part of your starting 11. This makes no sense. No sense, and you should be sacked for that.
I don't think it's going to happen. It's a non-story. If Saliba goes, we riot. LOL. Tony, Saliba is, as Gary was mentioned earlier, one of those defenders that just loves the art of defending. These are the best kind of defenders. They just dedicate their profession to defending, and he didn't jump in. He hasn't jumped in any way in preseason. He's been composed. He's been able to play out really, really well from the back. He's been able to close players down and shepherd them wide rather than
He
let them
finally got some passes from Gabriel last game.
some
That was kind
passes
of
to
weird, the first
Gabriel.
one.
Yeah, but listen, this is Saliba. Are we seeing the benefit of him being away for 3 years?
I
I hope
still
that's.
don't like him going to France all
Yeah.
3 years. I
I
think he
hope
would
that
have
is
been
not
more.
a good. I hope that's not considered a good plan. Like in general, there's probably a lot
But
of.
Gary,
A lot of.
But
There were
he
a
has
lot of.
actually gone
There
only
were
2.5
there
years
were a
because he
lot of
fucked up for a
scenario
half year. And
there were a lot of scenarios which probably played into him going there for as long as he did, but that can't be the norm and something you do in the
that one
future,
five
right?
months was that one
As I
five
told
months
you
was definitely a
when
fuck
all of
up.
that happened, his home could have been Arsenal if Arsenal opened up their arms and let him in. I don't
How
think
do you
they
um,
not
did that.
play him? At least him
All right,
under
John,
John,
thanks
23s?
for
Why is he?
I
joining.
hope it wasn't because of us that you're sleepy, but hopefully you have a good
I gotta
night's
find
sleep.
that picture now. Tony said it's
Only
out there,
3 a.m.
so
here in sleepy England.
I
Nice
will
chatting.
see.
Thanks for seeing us, John.
So
Yeah.
how do you do that, Ray?
How do I do what?
How do you bring him in, keep him for 5 months, not play him in under 23s,
That
basically
was
waste?
that was 3 months, and it was clearly a mistake. Right? Okay.
Oh no, just the whole
Now,
thing's just been mistake
as
after
Gary
mistake with
said,
him.
we'll never know. There might have been some extenuating circumstance.
Well,
That
no,
might,
the family situation is definitely a reason why you're probably gonna be okay to cater to what he needs to make himself feel good about playing football again. But for me, I always said when all of that kind of happened, he should have felt comfortable with Arsenal being his family. Because if this were a player 3 or 4 years older, Arsenal should have been considered a
Yeah,
place for
but that
him to
wasn't
be
too
to feel
long after
comfortable.
Arsenal said no, you can't play in the French Cup final.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
It all goes together, though,
needed
Gary.
no, he needed a place to feel like home at that particular point. His family situation didn't even come up till after. But what I'm saying is at that point, that's when you kind of say, "Look, we got you." All right.
Well, that make him feel more like family, though, if you say, "Hey, go in, go
That
play
had
in the."
nothing to do with what you can't tell me not getting to play in that final versus having death in the family are related
But that was
anyway. And that's what
after.
I'm saying.
I'm saying being feeling part of Arsenal family. They're both that. They say no, you can't play it. You're our player.
That was a business
The season was
decision.
still going on.
That wasn't a team decision. The other team didn't want to pay for him. They just wanted to extend the contract. Are you supposed to do that too? You got to look at it both
Everybody else
ways.
did it. Everybody
Who's
else
everybody
extended the
else?
contracts until the end of July.
There was probably a reason why Arsenal didn't, and it's probably one of the things we don't know.
Tony,
I
the Saliba interview in the UK, he wants to give his all to Arsenal. That's what he said. What team are we talking about tonight? Arsenal.
Yeah, it's an
What do we
Arsenal
think?
discussion. Sorry, Leeds was the other night. You missed it.
This is probably the comment of the night here. Saliba's position is perfect so far. He has never looked panicked. And look, there was certain extenuating circumstance around this 17-year-old. When we signed him, he was 17. He's 20 now. Imagine that. And knocking on the door of the French national team. Well, as things have transpired, I think the move for him, if he'd have gone into Arsenal at 17 and 18 years old, Gary, he would have likely made mistakes, and we'd be talking about Saliba maybe in a different way right now.
Yeah, he's gonna definitely make mistakes at that age.
Yeah.
I mean that's part of
I mean,
the
even at
learning,
20,
don't they?
he's going to make mistakes if he plays this season as well. But there is a really, really great player in there. We've seen that
Yep,
in the
yep,
preseason so far.
yeah.
Happy with Saliba and his self man management of clubs he wanted to go to. Arteta and Co. did not have a plan for Saliba.
Definitely didn't.
Des panel and everyone except Gary this time. Okay.
What'd
Everyone,
you do to him, Gary?
Wait, what happened?
Mr.
Tom
Tom's.
said hello to everyone except Gary. That's a sea change right there.
Love you, Mr. Tom.
It used to
It's
be
usually
Tony.
except Tony, but
It used to be Tony he picked on.
All right.
Saliba will not be bullied this season. I think there was a comment from BX Gunner or Riddy about Saliba and Zinchenko together will be massive.
yeah, I think that was BX.
BX Gunner. Yeah, listen, two players that we brought in. One is a new signing. One feels like a new signing, Tony.
Yeah, Zinchenko, good signing. Saliba seems like one since we haven't had him really for 3 years. Had him for, like you said, 4 or 5 months. Didn't do nothing with him. Never played a competitive minute for us. Still, to me, it was strangest thing out of this whole deal. He's a fucking homegrown player. That's the wildest part.
Yeah. Gary, there's going to be a couple of things I'm going to be looking for this season, okay? Arteta not married to Granit Xhaka being one of them. Having to leave him on the bench at times. I want to see that in parts of the season. But especially picking a side that's going to go up against, your matchups. Saliba against Haaland. Saliba against Darwin Núñez. These kind of matchups, you can't put a Ben White as your right central defender up against Haaland, right?
You might be putting Gabrielle on some of those.
Well, once again, that's where typically sometimes maybe you do go to the back three when you're playing these squads like City for me or Liverpool. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. They're a much better squad than you, much deeper, and time again, you get punished when you try to go for the back against them. All right. So for me, and we've seen teams go with a back three and actually get something out of it. So, and Arsenal has done that with Arteta and seen the results of that as well. So I kind of feel like there might be times when you do switch things up a little bit based on the competition and get something out of the game. I don't think we've got a solid back four right now that can compete with City or Liverpool when they're moving forward. Not the same levels, right?
That first US preseason game, you seen us experiment with a back three of a second half. So
yeah,
I think we'll see enough points in the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that should be part of our arsenal, right? So, I mean, I think we should be able to lean on that in those particular times because I believe we can counter with them as well. I think we can counter well if we're in those kind of situations. So, I don't know.
I think we should have did that a lot of after Partey and Kearney went out last season. I think we should have moved them back there. We had Cedric and Kavads that are wing backs. It would have made more sense. But Tedder refused for whatever.
So Gary, last season we had some gaps in our first 11, right? Now we can look at Gabriel Jesus, we look at Zinchenko, we can look at a Saliba at times as well, and feel a little bit more confident that they can add to the players that were there last season already.
But they only right now they only look like they're filling one spot, right? And that's Jesus because we didn't have a striker. I mean, Saliba is just replacing White, which would have started for us if we didn't have Saliba coming
But
in.
I feel
Zinchenko, if the only time Zinchenko would be for me filling a hole is if he moved to center mid. Because if Tierney's healthy going into the season, you probably play him, right?
I don't know.
I
If he's
would.
healthy, like if
Probably
he was
yes.
health, if we started a preseason and he was healthy, you could still bring in a Zinchenko, and we probably wouldn't even. We'd say he can always back up Tierney, but he can definitely play center, in the middle, in the midfield, and we wouldn't have had an issue with that.
Have a back four you seen in a preseason. Why would you change it, Gary?
I never said we would. We were just talking about. We
You
were just
talk
talking
about
about.
bringing Tierney in. So it's changed,
I never
Gary.
said bring in Tierney. I said if he was healthy to start the preseason, he would have started, Tony.
But you did say that you thought Gabriel, you thought White was Saliba or White would be
No, I'm
even,
saying that
right?
we're talking. There were holes that we needed to fill. Only Jesus is the one that filled a hole for me because the
Yeah.
hole I wanted filled weren't on the back line because of there's more. Back line is an issue because of health. So if we have starters, we don't need to fill those holes, right? But one of our midfielders and our striker is one of the key holes that I thought we needed to improve on.
Jesus is nothing like Sanchez. Totally different players. Sanchez was a
Um,
tap-in merchant.
who
Sanchez
Sanchez,
was tap-in
Alexis
merchant.
Sanchez was a
was
tap-in
a top
merchant.
end merchant?
Every
Tap
single
in
shot,
merchant. Every goal that he scored was from 3 feet out. I got it. Yeah, yeah, Tony. Yeah,
every single one.
take
Watch his
take your
Arsenal film.
glasses off, Tony. Take your
What?
glasses off and wipe them. Put them
Sanchez
back on.
shot 2 boxes. He made 2 goals out of a box his entire career at Arsenal.
Yeah, but that top end merchant is inside the 6 yard
I
box.
know exactly.
That's
So
where
that's
he
not the same
mostly
thing.
was.
It's not the same thing.
I
Not the
don't
same
think
thing. Sorry.
What
you're
happened to
comparing.
Sanchez
You're
after
comparing him
Ozil?
to. You're
What happened
comparing
to
him to
Ozil
Eddie
after
Nketiah, right?
Sanchez?
You're comparing him
They're a
to Eddie
2-year
Nketiah, right?
phenomenon.
No, you're gonna
Okay,
agree
Ran
with
hold
into
on.
me and got
space
it.
and tapped
I
it
got it.
in. He's
Rule
not a
would
good
not
shot
play.
taker.
Rule would not play Tierney until October. I think that's safe. And maybe Tierney can play some cup games. Rule the Carabao
I
Cup
mean, there
early
is no
stages.
reason to rush Tomiyasu and Tierney back. They have
Yeah.
to come back fully ready to go. No
Um,
questions about their health coming in for me.
Tony's asking. Rule is asking Tony, which games were you watching? Uh, Tony, you're getting now. Is Tony on crack? Says Tom. I think
Should
somebody had to. Out of the three of us, somebody had to disagree. So it seemed like it wasn't going to be me today.
I just
Like,
I did tap in merchant. That's you went there.
Well, go rewatch his 50-goal
It was not a
highlight. Go
tap
watch it.
in. It was not a tap in
wow.
merchant.
Go watch it.
Big
Des,
difference.
they were different kind of players. Question is Jesus the same sort of player as Sanchez, or is he better? I still think Sanchez can be a better player than Jesus, but Jesus can get close to
How
Sanchez.
long was he good at Arsenal? How long was he good after
A
Arsenal?
good 18 months, a good 2 years, he was good at Arsenal.
How good was he after Arsenal?
Well, he went to Man United. We all know how that went, right?
I don't
And
see.
what happened
I
after
don't
he left
see.
United?
I don't see Sanchez coming to midfield to retrieve the ball,
What
making a
happened to
spin,
Ozil? What
and
did I see
start
with
in the
both of them?
attack.
Let
I
them
don't think I
fucking
saw
walk.
much of that from Sanchez. So if you're comparing Sanchez and Jesus, I think that right there is a clear difference. What you get.
Yeah. Listen, we're probably going to get a player with this, hopefully the same amount of output. They're just going to do it slightly differently. BX Skinner thinks we're getting an equal killer. Why can't you play both Saliba and White, Ebony and Ivory, stopping goals in perfect harmony?
Why do you want to do that when you can just go Ebony and then
Yeah.
and not have to worry about and still
Yeah.
have perfect harmony?
Gabrielle.
And not only that, but they're a lot taller.
But let's not just get into the mindset of Saliba being taller. He's really good on the ground, and it can be just
No,
as
but what I'm saying is you got two
Yep.
big, strong center backs, like you said, that can go in there and basically walk somebody off the pitch if they think they've got an attack. They were able to do that. We've seen them do that already. So I think it would be nice to have that tandem there, but we'll see.
Don't confuse Marseille with Arsenal, Tony.
Tony. You said some crazy things. That was.
No, I haven't.
You said Sanchez is a tap-in merchant. That's
He
crazy.
is.
Yeah, that's a Tony take.
That is a Tony take.
He's really
Murmuring
pushing.
was for us too.
He's
Some
really
say,
pushing for his own segment, Gary. He's really
So-
pushing for his own
so-
segment.
some say he's like the best Emirates player that's ever
Yes,
been there, and
Sanchez.
now you're saying he's a tap-in merchant. I think that's just false. Just-
Don't rewatch his goals.
The amount of club bangers Sanchez scored, match winners. When we signed Sanchez, that was like a dream come true for me. Same has to be said with this Jesus signing. Big Skinner, the signs look really, really good, and I think we can transition to a Jesus and Kedia conversation next. That we've talked about Saliba. I think Saliba can be very influential for us. Just one final word on Saliba, Gary and Tony. I think Saliba can be influential for us. I think Arteta should use the right combination, pick the players for the opposition. I think is an opportunity to use Saliba in a very unique way this season, and I want to see him flourish and continue to be that calming influence.
Yeah, but why would you go away from Gabriel and Saliba? 264 shit houses. Why would you go away from that? Went
So
over aerials.
there's going to be times where you're playing teams with low blocks, and you will probably need some of Ben White and just rotation as well. You've had Virgil van Dijk has played with Matip and Konate.
Didn't Wright said they still went in for Tomiyasu a lot of the season, right?
What?
Said Ben White said be filling in for Tomiyasu a lot of the season.
Yeah, possibly. It's up to Tomiyasu to fight for his place and get it back as well. I think Tomiyasu is a more comfortable right back than Ben White will be. I think Ben White will be cover for a right back position. Gary, how do you see that? First of all, talk about Saliba, and then how do you see Ben White, Tomiyasu situation played out, and how do you see it right now?
So I was just looking at the tap-in merchants shooting from right outside of the box, and scoring,
12, 15,
shipping over the
9.
goalkeeper. Just checking. Yeah. Just see him dribbling. Okay, he dribbled around the goalkeeper and then scored
And then
from like
tapped it
5
in.
feet out.
Yeah.
No, he never even made it into the goalie box. That's how bad he brought the goalkeeper out. But,
Not asking for football reason if Tony's on crack.
No, I mean I
I like Mr. Tom's
Saliba-
last comment.
Saliba is a talent, and you want to tap that right and make sure you continually get the best out of him. I mean, he fits the criteria for what you want out of a center back. Yes, he's young, but I think he needs to definitely be part of any kind of center back rotation that you have. Like, he could definitely start, and he's been playing now. So, what have you seen from him that you go, I don't think he's ready. So he's going to have to play at some point especially if you either one want to keep him, two.
Patrick Schick, I talked about him a few months ago. Right.
I thought he is not. It's not a really a good option anymore. Like, as far as maybe got a new deal or something. I don't know.
It's funny. We were talking about Jonathan David. He's probably still at Lille, right? We were talking about Patrick Schick. All these players on the continent coming to Arsenal. And by and large, I think we've looked to the Premier League and continue to look to the Premier League to get players in. Rule said there are different players would carry the same hunger. Sanchez would run back to defense to tackle. So any other words on Saliba before we go to Gabriel Jesus and Kedia?
Nope.
Tony?
Nope.
You still hope that he will play for Olympique Marseille one day, though, right?
I never hoped that he played for him. I was just telling you.
You're
The
like
player-
selling. You're basically selling him to
The
Marseille is
player
what you've been
wanted
doing.
guaranteed minutes.
Nobody gives you any guaranteed minutes. It's just
Thank you.
a silly
Thank
thing
you.
to ask. You know that's
He
not as a
would have
silly thing
stood
to
there
ask.
and fought. If Taniyasu was healthy,
Did he
and
did
he
he
was.
did he only go to Marseille because they guaranteed him minutes? Or sorry, guaranteed him starts?
If he
No,
went
he
back,
did
he
not go
would.
there.
Then he had Champions League guaranteed. He had both guaranteed if he goes back.
He had to work for it, right?
There's
And more games before the World Cup.
Mr. Tom said there's no such thing as a final word on Saliba as these two talk about him every day
I
on
didn't bring
Twitter.
him up. That was
And look,
Ray.
I've been saying that, Gary. I've been saying that to Tony as well. No such thing as guaranteed minutes. There's maybe 5 players in the Premier League that get guaranteed minutes, and they're probably the two
It doesn't
goalkeepers,
mean he didn't fucking want him, Ray.
Ederson and
Why is he
Allison.
cursing at you? What's the
The
language for?
goalkeepers for the
Because Ray
top two
keeps
teams:
saying it. Like,
Virgil van Dijk and
Ray,
Kevin De Bruyne. Go.
can they not be guaranteed, but he still wants guaranteed minutes?
Guaranteed
to
minutes
feature
versus
in World
starts is
Cup.
two different things. You said starts, now you're saying minutes. Which one is it? Because you said
He wants
starts.
starts. Well, the
So
World
now
Cup
it
starting
starts,
in
okay.
3.5 months after the season starts. He wants
I don't think he needs
starts.
starts to get on the French team.
We gained a subscriber. Yes, nice one.
There.
Tony, Gabriel, and Saliba cannot play every game. I don't want White playing a right back. He's part of the centre back rotation, hence the need to get a better right back than Cedric.
I think they can play every Premier League game together. I don't see why not.
Yeah,
You can't
Jonathan
play
David.
play three center backs when you're playing in a back four, can you? So one has to sit.
But he was talking about Gabriel and
Listen,
Saliba.
when you look at our defense now, we've got Rob Holding, we've got Gabriel, we've got Saliba, we've got White, and then you go to fullback.
Let's forget the first one you said there.
Zinchenko, Kieran Tierney, Tomiyasu, and Cedric. And I think for depth, that's 2 players for each position.
Take Rob off your list.
Who?
Rob, he's not a good defender.
Rob. Well, he's a rotational defender. White would be a great CDM. Listen, we're going to talk about Jesus and we're going to talk about Eddie and Kedia. My main concern, Gary, and I'm going to pop out for a second. I'll leave you guys to talk about this. I'll be right back. My main concern, as I've said before, the striking position, those minutes just solely being given to Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. Many will say, what if Jesus gets injured? We've got Nketiah. What if Eddie gets injured? Jesus got to play a lot of minutes.
You always need 3 strikers. It's ridiculous not having 3. Who's to be the third striker?
This is
Can your boy
Martinelli,
Martinelli
right?
be the third striker?
That's the only one you have. You don't really have another one, right? Balogun, unless Balogun's going to stay around, and that would be. I don't think that's a good idea either. He's not ready
for
to
his
take on that.
development, I don't think.
Nope. He should. I mean, he should have been already on loan. So no, that is the problem. That is another issue, and that's just, to me, similar to the Partey issue. You just don't have anybody behind that I think you can trust as an Arteta. If you're Arteta, there's nobody behind Jesus and Partey right now that I think you can get a similar job out of. Maybe at a different level, but I don't think Eddie's and Kenny is ready for that right now. Based on what we've seen from Jesus, definitely not. I don't think he's ready to take on that kind of a role. So yeah, I think we'd be in trouble if we lose one of those 2 players. Because we
I was
might,
kind of surprised on the poll. I seen how much Partey's injury would be more devastating than Jesus. I think Jesus's would be more because I don't think Eddie's going to give you the goals. I think
it doesn't matter.
Zinchenko,
It doesn't matter if Partey's out.
I think Zinchenko or even like was mentioned earlier, White can go in there and be CDM. They're both good going forward.
Well, one, you've never seen White there, and I don't know if Zinchenko defensively, that's one of the skills that he brings at that particular position in the middle of the pitch there. Like I said, I don't I don't believe I see any player close to a Partey in terms of like to be able to back him up. Not what he's being asked to do, which means then you would have to spread the responsibilities around, but you would still need somebody with the defensive abilities back there to sit
Can
in
your
front of the
boy
back
do it,
line.
Ray? Can your
What are we
boy
talking
Yuri?
about now?
All right, ready?
Cheers, Reddy. Thanks for staying with us tonight.
Can
And
your
it's the
boy
morning.
Yuri fill in for Partey?
Which one?
Yuri.
Yuri. Yeah, well, listen, what scares me about this transfer window is that we're going to see Zinchenko. This is my fear. Arteta will see Zinchenko as a fill in for midfield as well as left back, and will therefore not want to overload Granit Xhaka with quality. Because if we bring quality in, Granit Xhaka's got to sit.
You
This is
already did
not
that.
your
You did
fear.
it. You already did. You already brought in quality when you brought in Partey. So now he's sitting next to Partey, and we're all
Next to
looking at that,
Partey.
and we're all looking at that, going, "Well, damn, that is a big. That's no different than a drop when our that's like, well, you got a nice flashy car, and next to it, a Pinto. It might get you there. Doesn't do a similar job.
Somebody might
Doesn't even
run
do
into you in your
close for
gas
me,
tank. Might
anyways.
explode
I
in
don't
your
think it
Pinto.
works. I don't think it works. Like I said before, I think with Partey and Erdegaard, you've got some potential out of Erdegaard that everybody seems to be happy about, and with Partey, you got the quality of that position, and then with Xhaka, you don't. What do you have? What does he bring to the table for those three positions when you put them together? For me,
That's my fear, Gary. I think we need better. If you bring in Yuri Tillemans, that's going to be competition for Granit Xhaka. And I
But
want to
why wouldn't
see that.
Fabio be if you brought him in? He's not going to play on the left.
he's playing behind. He's coming on for Erdegaard, is my understanding.
Yeah, but he plays on the left. Odegaard plays on the right generally.
That's my fear anyway. I want Arteta to have a selection issues where Granit Xhaka can be sitting on the substitutes bench and coming in.
Doesn't matter if he's in with Team Sheet, he's starting, right? Because
I fear that you're right. For the first time tonight, I fear that you're speaking sense. For the first time, and you have to pick this topic to speak
I
some sense.
remember it was just like 3-4 weeks ago. You laughed at me saying that Granit Xhaka would get more than 10 starts, and a few weeks later, you said he's a get 20 starts. If he gets 20 starts, we're totally fucked.
I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh at you. I was laughing with you. Big
You
difference.
laughed at me.
No. I told you 27 starts for Granit Xhaka last season in the Premier League. It's got to be around 23, 25.
It's got to be under 10, right? Preferably 0. 0 would be preferred.
Ready, you know what they're going to say. Tony's going to proclaim doom, and Gary's going to verbally spank him for it. Steven said, for me, it's nice to have a player that can play more than one position, but I don't think it's the ideal situation in so many positions. You win. To win, you need 2 solid players in every position and 3 for striker. And that's the issue, Gary. I think I left you talking about Jesus and Nketiah, and I came back to talk about midfield. But anyway, that's my fear, is that we need a third striker or another forward up there.
We were talking about what injury would be worse, Jesus or Partey.
Okay, what? Oh, okay, yeah. And Partey's injury would be worse, right?
No, Tony thinks that Jesus is worse.
We got Zinchenko. We got people.
I agree about
Nobody's replacing Partey in this squad right now, in my eyes.
Yeah, but how many months have we seen that Partey? We've seen him for 2 months, Gary.
Nobody can replace what he does. That's the problem. We haven't seen.
They can
haven't brought
80%
anybody
of the time
in.
because 20%
there.
of the
Fabio
time.
on the right hand side.
We've
Fabio
only
on the
seen him
right,
for 2
Erdegaard.
months out of 18 months he's been for us.
Erdegaard's
Like
position.
we
The
wanted.
problem is they brought in a player and they don't have a good backup for him, and he's been hurt. Maybe he's come back too early. A couple. He's come back from injury twice now, too soon, and we've paid for it every time. And that's because we don't have a legitimate backup for what he brings. Right, he kind of plays. He plays right in front of the. Plays a kind of a CDM role, but he does a lot of. He can do a lot of the box to box stuff that we
Why can't
want.
you bring in somebody like Neves?
Like I said, we don't have that guy. It's the problem. Is Neves going to come in and sit behind Aparte? Should he?
No. We need to try Norton Coffee at right back, and Zinchenko does it for Ukraine. Okay, listen, for me, I think two strikers is not enough. I think it's untried. If we're going to go Martinelli through the middle, if something, God forbid, happens to both Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus, trying Martinelli through the middle.
Jesus is going to get hurt. He's already been on the ground how many times in this preseason?
Yeah. Injuries will happen. I think every player in our squad will have some injuries. Well,
Mine it's Granit Xhaka because he always recovers.
any one of them can get injured. Okay. What I wanted to sort of touch a base on next is let's talk about what Thursday nights will look like moving forward in the Europa League. So let's sort of pick a team. Gary,
New Jerusalem.
who's your goalkeeper in the Europa League group stages in September? Who's your goalkeeper?
Oh my! Hopefully Turner shows us a lot more, but I don't know when he's going to get to do that.
Okay.
Right? Like I don't like what I saw in this preseason. Do I feel confident? Not so much, but is that because of just if you're bringing him in, you kind of would like to see. I feel like we wanted to see a lot more. Maybe they're seeing better in situations away from the camera. But he does look a little bit scary to me.
But you'd feel confident that in the Europa League group stages that we would see what Matt Turner can do without fear of maybe losing or not making it into the knockout stages.
I think if it came down to it, then Leno Ramsdale would probably play some of those games.
Yeah. And that would look bad if Matt Turner couldn't get the job done, or our second team, as it were, couldn't get the job done. Tony, your thoughts on your namesake for the Europa League group stages?
From what I've seen of him, I don't think he's ready for it. That's why I kept saying unless you get 12 to 15 million for Leno, I keep him to January, see what happens through
The group stages, the Europa League group stages, you don't think he's ready for that, for the early stages?
Not from what I've seen.
He's a U.S.
Depending on the draw.
This is
Unless
the U.S.
we get a horrible draw.
You think you could stop the top end merchants?
Not from what we've seen from him so far.
Listen, I think an international goalkeeper should be good enough for the group stages of the Euro.
I thought he would be, but he's disappointed so far.
All right, Tony, who are you going to play right back? And bear in mind it's the Europa League, and you have a full squad to pick from.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric, okay. Gary, you go along with that?
Yep.
I would too. Left back, Gary.
Tierney.
Yeah, I think Kieran Tierney will have to play some of those games to prove his fitness.
We don't like, and that's where it's nice to have a Zinchenko because he can play both. But I'd rather not. I'd rather have equal depth in both positions, not one player you can play. But that's exactly what we said about Cedric. He can play left back. We can play right back. Turns out he really is not as good as we would think on the left side. So we need to have some serious depth. If we're talking about Europa League, this is where they need to make sure they have multiple players for each position, and then some versatility with others, right? It's nice to be able to say Zinchenko can play these two positions, but you still need to have two players in one of those positions, right, that he's going to play in. So right now it looks like left back, but I don't know if there's an answer for that.
Rule said Sousa might get some games as left back, and maybe Carabao Cup for that kind of player as well, an academy player. Desmond Cloud said, "Looks like we're getting 8 million for Leno." Tony, you good with Kieran Tierney, left back?
Yeah, to me, it's just whoever's needing the fitness test, just flip a coin. It doesn't matter Zinchenko or Tierney. I don't care
Just
either way.
answer one of them, please.
I
Now you're
said
gonna
I
do this.
don't care. It's a coin
This
flip.
this. Yeah, but who's starting for Arsenal at left back in the Premier League on Friday?
Zinchenko.
That's not a Premier League. That's Europa.
That's what he's getting at. That's what Gary's getting at. All right, Tony. We know. Tony knows. Tony knows, right? Tony
I
knows.
said it's a coin flip. I don't give a fuck. Put either one of them on there.
All right. Who's your central defensive pairing for the first Europa League group game?
We've been playing 4-3-3, so I'm going to keep with that formation. Smith Rowe.
No. Who's your central defenders?
We've been playing with 3, Ray. We've been playing with an 8, a 6, and an 8.
Central defenders.
Oh.
The man just jumps to a new part of the field and then starts complaining with us.
Tony,
Central
well, maybe
defenders.
listen, Tony. You might be not feeling 100% as well. Be right.
Wide and holding.
All right. White and Holding. Okay. All right. Gary, White and Holding or Gabrielle and Holding?
Tony makes sense.
For once. All right. I'll go along with White.
Nonsense.
White and Holding, because that means Saliba is now first choice with Gabrielle. All right, Gary. Who's your central defensive midfielder?
Yeah. I guess it's Zombie right now. It has to be Zombie right now, which I don't know.
Does he get paired with Al Nani for you, or not?
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I've always said no.
All right. Give me your 3. Let's do it this way. Give me your 3.
So it'd be a Milson Rowe, I guess. If Vieira and Zombie.
Okay. No place for El Nani for you.
El Nani comes in to help them out. He's like break glass. We need to fix in the middle, because potentially he could be playing in the Premier League, right? So.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Tony, what's your 3 in midfield?
I already answered this, but I'll answer it again.
Well, I wasn't listening. I was listening for defenders.
I know you're waiting for the defenders. Smith Rowe, Saliba, or Sambi, and Fabio.
Okay, Fabio. For me, I think I would find the spot for El Nani, but I get what Gary's saying. El Nani could potentially be important for the Premier League. Sorry to hear that, Tony. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, Tony's going to be, tell the folks what you're going to be in the coming weeks. You're going to be tired and stuff.
Yeah, been tired. Really didn't notice yesterday how tired I was until I went to a gym and started trying to lift weights, and I was like, damn, I have no energy at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm taking chemo medicine for lupus, trying to get that under control. Then I get to start another biological for my Crohn's disease, so my immune system will be dealing for a while.
Yeah. Listen, stay safe as well, Tony, and keep going, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I have exploding prosthetic foot, so it's a different
story. I thought you were going to say some other kind of
exploding. When you started with that, I was like, dude, this is not that kind of show, and we really don't need that.
Exploding diarrhea.
It was like, we don't need that information to be put on the airways.
I thought he was going to say something else when he said I have exploding. All right, Gary.
Get your guy's head out of a gutter.
Eddie is your striker, right?
Eddie is the striker, yeah.
I won't flip this up. It was in context. Eddie is not your striker, but it's the Europa League striker. Tony? Come on, this is where you say 100,000. Hans weak.
Martinelli.
Martinelli. Wow. Okay. Left wing, Gary.
I guess Marcanos, right? And Martinelli and Nketiah. Does that work?
Don't you think Emil Smith Rowe? For me, it's Lakonga, El Neni, and Vieira in midfield. Emil Smith Rowe plays on the left for me in the Europa League. And
I've been playing on the left, but
Martinelli's going to be
midfielder.
playing league games. Right now, he's ahead of Emil Smith Rowe. Anyway, right wing, Gary Pepe. Right now,
He won't be
Right
there.
now, I don't. No, I'm not even gonna. No.
he'll play the Europa League. Pepe will.
Marquinhos will be there.
He's not. I
Marquinhos
kind of
on
feel
the
like
right.
feel like it's a waste. I feel it's a waste of like either if he's in the squad, he should. Nah,
Ainsley
I guess
Maitland-Niles probably has got the move by then rule, I
Do
think.
you don't want to know who's going on the left, Ray?
I'm listening.
Our unsigned winger. One we'll get before the window closes.
Mysterious.
It's not mysterious. We're bringing in a winger.
Yeah, okay. Well, who are we bringing in?
Fuck if I know. It changes day to day.
Marquinhos, I think, will go out on loan, Gary. And Gary, you don't like loans, right?
I don't like the way we use them. We just use them because we don't want to like these. Like a lot of times we've always been saying, "No, to put them out on loan," when in reality we just need to sell them because we're not going to play them when they come back anyways. Right? Especially like look at all of our loans that went out. Only one legitimately comes back. All right.
That was a wrong question for Gary. Should ask him what he does like.
Do you want to ask? You ask. Go. You go ahead and ask Tony. Ask Gary.
What do you like, Morty?
Look, I think the value of a loan is twofold, right? You want the play. First of all, you want the player to get games and improve his value. Now, whether he comes back to your team and plays for you, or whether he moves on to another team, the value of the loan would be an increasing value of the player, and it's something for the future,
I
Gary.
don't know. I think Marquinhos will do like Martinelli his first season. I think I'll do good in Europa.
Good night, Mr. Tom. We are going to wrap up in the next 10 or 15 minutes. If anyone wants to bring some topics to the table, throw them in the comment section. Behave yourself, Tony. That's the parting words.
So Marcanos and what was I thinking? So who's your front three, Tony?
Our unsigned winger,
Um,
Martinelli, and Marquinhos.
You play Martinelli through the middle?
Yeah.
Tony. Most of our first team's loan is a hope for a sale to take place. Exactly.
And that's the problem with their hope. There's no like these players don't like.
How many goals did Martinelli get his first season in the Europa, right?
10.
Yeah. And where did he play primarily?
Left wing. Left wing. All right. Gary, final preseason game is Sevilla.
Mm-hmm.
The Emirates Cup on it's Saturday or Sunday? I think it's Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
All right. What do you want to see? We won't go into too much depth on it.
The same 11 that we had against Chelsea in the first half. Hopefully, I would like to say hopefully we have a signing by then, but that's like I keep saying that for every game that we're about to play. So it would be nice to have another player. Like
how long would you play him for, Gary?
30, 45 minutes, depending on which player. Like Jesus comes off after 30.
Yeah,
I don't like
or half, right?
you know, but I mean, we could start subbing off towards the end of the half to get these guys a little bit of a run out, and then let them play for the rest of the game. Bring a lot of the kids right at your home, so you can bring the kids and let them get some of those kids out there to play. So why not? That's what they did yesterday or something like that. So yeah, let them
And
get
look,
some time.
we have a very Tony, we have a very manageable start to the season. We need to make sure we get our players in full fitness to Selhurst Park 8 days from now.
Yeah, the first two could be tricky, but the rest of them should be easy. But
At least in the first 4 or 5 games.
yeah,
The first, okay.
I want to play any of them more than 45 minutes. I'd like to kind of see Marquinhos with some of the starters would be nice, but I definitely don't want to see Saka playing more than 45 minutes. He looked tired in preseason. Don't play more than you need to.
Gary, what are you thinking?
About what?
Well, we're talking about the final preseason game, Sevilla. It should really be, an
He
exercise.
already told you. He started the
Okay,
question,
I
right?
was asking. I thought he was asking a different question than the one I answered.
You lost me
Pay
now.
attention, Gary.
You asked me a question. I thought I answered it, and then you asked me again. I was like, I thought it was a new question.
Yeah,
Probably.
Peloton on my brain, Gary.
We're coming to the end of the
I know, you're
podcast.
right.
Coming to the end. It's been a long summer, a long preseason, so this probably is where we start to get excited now for the league to start, right?
Oh yes,
Ready for football to come back.
let's do this.
If we judge our window real quickly, Gary, if we judge our window with incomings and outgoings, it's not a good mark. It's probably 4 or 5 out of 10.
I think I was at like 5.5, so I might be out 6 because it looks like we're going to get Leno's going to be out and Bellerin's going to be out. So no, but because I think Zinchenko, Jesus are good. I would like to think Vieira is supposed to be good as well, but we haven't seen him play. Marquinhos, I'm not sure. I just don't like bringing in players that potentially could be going out on loan. I don't want him to be similar to what we just did to Tavares, because that would mean that at some point you just can't bring in 18, 19-year-old players and expect them to be able to provide you with some kind of coverage for whatever positions you're bringing them in for. They need to
Jim
be.
sure doesn't look 19. The guy looks like 25, 26.
I know, but like I said, for me that means he should be playing a little bit more. Maybe he should be playing with the first team but I haven't seen it yet.
Obligation to buy has to be agreed on by the loan club. That said, big step forward. Big step next season is not to lose against teams like Brighton or Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a shock result. It will happen, but let's not have a combination of results that we can say we're going to look to Southampton, we're going to look to Palace, we're going to look to Brighton. We can't name 3 or 4 teams.
Let's not lose 6 of our final 11. Let's just
Exactly.
not do that.
And Tony, I was looking at 6 years ago, I think 15-16 season, maybe the 14-15 season. We finished with 75 points, I think, 23 wins and 6 draws, around about 9 defeats. I think that's kind of the progression we're looking for.
Was that the 16-17 season?
Possibly, yeah. I think it was 15-16 season. 75 points.
I thought that was when Leicester won, was 15-16.
That was 71 points we got in that season.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was a year after we got 75 and we didn't make the Champions League with 75.
Yeah. This is so let's do our outros now. Gary, Want to start off?
Okay.
Energy's a bit low, but we're getting there. We're gonna be more stoked when the season starts next
Yep.
Thursday.
Well, like I said, looking forward to seeing our starting 11 come out again and give us a show. Hopefully, we get to see some youngsters on Saturday as well. Get ready for season to start. It would be nice to bring in a player or two before the season starts. Whether they play or not, it doesn't really matter at that point. But would like to bring some players in. Looking forward to the. I guess what we talked about. We're looking forward to that first game of the season. It's got it for me. It's got to be a win based on what we how we started out the last season. So, team needs to come ready to go. So yeah, looking forward to it. We shall see how the transfer window goes. I would like a little bit of business before the season starts. Though we still have 2 weeks for that. Not 2 weeks, but we still have another week to get that done. So it'd be nice to see another player come in. Thank you all for coming and
Yeah,
hanging out with
that's
us tonight, and we'll do this thing again on Sunday.
yeah. Tony is going to get the final. As always, Tony gets the final word. Tony's takes are quite something to witness. Calling Alexis Sanchez
Is it Des
a
the enforcer there?
tap in. Des the enforcer. Great to see you
Yeah.
here. Yeah, listen, Tony calling Alexis Sanchez a tap in merchant. Sorry, Tony. Um, Everyone rounded on you for that one. This shows this podcast
Say
being
your
called.
final words, Ray.
I'm saying my final words, so you can say your final words, and then
You're
we
just
can say
attacking
goodnight
me.
to
That's how
everyone.
you're doing.
All right, that's how it works.
Shit stir, Ray.
Let the man talk.
Yeah, he's been doing that, right? He's been doing it. It's not just me that sees it, right? Everyone sees it, right? Connecting the dots. Listen, I thought the Amazon, for me, the Amazon documentary, I'm going to be interested to see it. It's going to connect some dots for me in terms of what happened last season. We're going to see what happened behind the scenes. Some people thought that was cringe. Mikel Arteta's sharing a message with the players before the Norwich
Just
game.
didn't seem genuine to me. There's lots of things that just
I
haven't
think
came
it
across.
seemed genuine to me, but obviously there's two ways to come down on this. You think one way or you think the other way. I think when you're bottom of the league, Gary said it right, bottom of the league, nine, no points from nine, and 9 goals conceded. You need something, and I think when you can tell someone that they mean something to you, that's a very profound moment in everybody's life, and we all need somebody to support us. And the Arsenal players supported Arteta in that moment. But anyway, connecting the dots. Let's do it. We got some gaps in the. We had some gaps in our 11. Jesus is connecting some dots. I think Martinelli is going to have a big. Sorry, this is drawn out a bit. Martinelli is going to have a big season because we're connecting some dots around Martinelli, and I think Arsenal are going to start trending upwards a little bit more. We have to have a better season than last season. Progression is about points in the table, and that's what matters. And Europa League, we're assembling a squad that's capable of winning the Europa League. Keep Saliba at the back, Jesus at the Saliba at the back, Jesus at the front. How can it go wrong, Tony?
Was that one of your Irish goodbyes? We haven't had one of those in a
That was
while.
a long one. That was a long one. But I've said my piece now. We'll see you on the weekends, and Tony will take us out. I don't know if it's going to be a long Tony or a short Tony.
Football thing, we still need to get players out. Would like to see 3 more come in. We'll probably only see 2 more come in. I don't want to see next Wednesday for the US, Thursday early morning for you in the UK. You don't want to see that all or nothing as distraction for the team or fans. It's already happened to be heavily in the club's favor. They're the one that's got final say on the editing. I would love, love, love to see Von editing season. That would be great. All the stuff I read on the cutting room floor, I'd pay $100 to watch. It'd be like one of those prime boxing matches you stay up for if you want to watch.
Yeah. Listen, the club had final say on the cuts So they're not going to show everything, of course, right? And when we get to Aubameyang, that's going to be real sensitive material. Rule, tap in Merchant Tony and Co. Nice job. Um, come back for more Tony takes at the weekend and some um, proper insight from Gary and myself. Sorry, Tony, you did give proper insight as well. I'm just kidding. True on the loans, but it doesn't even look like an option. But 2 wins over LFC and City doesn't show progress in isolated incidents. I need some form of overall progression. Listen, thanks for watching, everyone. We have dropped the backstage pass. After we go silent here and the lights go out, come and see us if you want backstage, and we'll be staying back for a little bit to chat. Take care, everyone. Come on, you Gooners, and please have a look at the ticker at the bottom to help Tony. Let's get him to 10,000 eventually. Every little bit's going to help. Gary, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Tony, thanks for joining. And Stan, thanks for joining for a little bit as well. I realized it wasn't easy with the connection and all that stuff, but we'll see you
Thought he had
guys.
Alonzo's laptop.
But yeah, Alonso must have missed us as well, so maybe Alonso will drop in a bit later. Take care, everyone. We'll see what happens in the Sevilla game, and the season is 8 days away now. 8 days. Talk to you soon.